Welcome to Australian Transformers Weekly, everyone. We are bringing you Transformers news from around the world in Australian accents. This is episode 198. Two off a very big number. We are recording live. I know, crikey. Don't say crikey, because if you say crikey, then a stingray is going to come along and stab you through the chest, and like you would never get to see Unicron. So yeah, we are recording live on Saturday, August 31st, 2019. In this episode, there's a twist in the Unicron crowdfund. There's some new Generation Select and Studio Series figures and more coming up after this. Welcome to the show. This is episode 198, and I'm Jason. Joining me tonight in the middle of the screen there is Bradley and his long, flowing, luscious beard, coming to us from Perth. How are you going, Brad?
I'm doing all right, thanks, Jason. And how are you?
I am doing okay. I've vaguely forgotten a bit about how to do the show because I've been off for a while, but sure, I'm here. Oh, yeah, like if I move this way, my chair likes to roll back, but it does put me dead center of the camera, so I'm going to try that. Yeah, Max coming to us from Adelaide and NBN land. I mean, like we used to constantly joke about the Tesla battery running Adelaide's power grid, but it seems like maybe we should be joking about your NBN instead.
I don't know if I live in a first world country, to be honest. It's just. I think you can probably draw like an empirical, like
we've seen all the news from this weekend from us deporting refugees off to Christmas Island. I don't know if we live in a first world country either.
Christmas Island, so much in super false advertising.
Yeah, it's not that merry, but yeah. No. So yeah, look, it's been. I don't know. It sounds like we're doing a confessional, but like, you know, forgive me, streaming gods, for we have sinned. It's been 3 weeks since our last episode. What have you guys been up to in the last 3 weeks?
Uni and Dark Souls, really. That's about it. That's my life for about the past 2 months.
I thought you said you don't play online games anymore. Or is Dark Souls not an online game, and instead, like, we don't want to look in your basement?
Well, the way that Dark Souls works is it's like a single-player game, but then you can get invaded from another player will jump into your game and try and attack you. But when that happens, I'll like hit them, and then 5 seconds later they'll take damage.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that's kind of what happens when I walk around on the streets of Redfern as well. I mean, like, you know, it's not great. I got the train out to Lidcombe to the Sydney Transformers meetup tonight, and there was someone grooving away to some like mid-90s Daft Punk on the train, just like singing songs out loud and everything, and you know, no one really wanted to say anything about them, or else they might jump into their dark soul. But yeah,
in Sydney, if you contest with someone, you're going to get stabbed.
Yeah, basically, if you're up there on CBD. It's gotten a little bit dark. So I did some fun stuff while we've been off for 3 weeks. I went over and I spent 2 weeks traveling. Spent a few days in Singapore. I spent a few days in Singapore with my dad, and Dad was who is playing with toys?
Well, I've got him, but I'm not actually playing with him.
Well, he was making a lot of noise.
No, that wasn't me. That was him.
Yeah, fair enough. Max, are you making noise?
No.
Brad, I think it was you.
No.
In all fairness, I couldn't actually hear the noise, so.
Fair enough. All right, so look, just be careful if you're playing with things near the microphone. So spent a couple of days in Singapore with my dad. Dad was very patient and let me go explore and looking at toy shops all over Singapore, although didn't get to all of them. I did not get to my actual favorite place, Robo, because turns out we landed on the Sunday night. The day before had been Singapore's National Day, which meant that the Friday was a public holiday. Saturday was National Day. Sunday was Sunday, like we landed Sunday night. And Monday was also a public holiday. So a bunch of shops didn't open, and then I left Tuesday night. So didn't do all the Transformers shopping that I wanted to, but I did get a few things. I got what did I get? I got Jetfire. Jetfire for a fairly good price of $125.
Nice.
And picked up a couple of little guys as well. Like I've decided that I've taken quite a liking to the Newage figures. So yeah, we'll talk about them a little bit more later on. What else did I get in Singapore? Since I was heading to TF Nation, I don't have photos of this actually to show, but I'm very happy with myself because I made some pins. And when I say pins, I mean I actually like manufactured like metal pieces with enamel painting and stuff, and they're in the shape of the Matrix. The design is made by Justin Mazaru, who does a lot of artwork and shares them in TCCA on Facebook. He's a very, very talented artist, and he very kindly donated a sketch of the Matrix, which got duly turned into a pin and became one of the most talked about items at TF Nation. So very happy with that, and made 120 pins and gave them all out to people, individually numbered and all sorts of things. The thing that made me quite happy about it was that people actually got pin numbers that meant things to them. It was my dad's 75th birthday while he was there, so he grabbed pin number 75 for himself. I gave James Roberts pin number 100 because he could turn it upside down and make it pin number 1, which is important if you read Lost Light. A few other people got some significant numbers. Maz got 51, and Maz likes racing games. He likes using number 51 in racing games. And Kevin Gorman, who does the Transformers comic cover recreations, he was quite proud of himself. He got pin number 69.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. And
the most impressive part is that you remembered all of those.
Yeah, no, like, important numbers you remember, right? Pin number 113 is going to Huang from Melbourne, who did not make it to TF Nation for medical reasons, but it holds a special connection to him because of Lost Light and More Than Meets the Eye. And pin number 120 went to Transtech UK's, what's his Twitter name, The Last Gherkin, because he gave me the last copy of his fanzine, and so I gave him the last pin. So, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, worked out well. Let's see what else happened at TF Nation. So TF Nation, there were a couple of big events that went on at TFN. There was a performance of the unproduced first few episodes of Transformers Animated Season 4.
Ooh.
Now, so that reaction tells me that Max has never watched Animated or doesn't care.
I didn't verbalize that. Also because I heard about it a bit before, but yeah, that is pretty cool.
Yeah, fair enough. So one of the guests of TFN was Marty Eisenberg, who was the showrunner for Animated, and he dug out the script outlines for the first 3 episodes of what would have been Season 4, which was a 3-parter called The Trial of Megatron. They had advertised that they were going to do a script reading on the Saturday night. Everyone sort of wondered what the script reading was going to be. Turns out they didn't. So normally for a script reading at a convention, you have a big table and you have people come out and read the parts, and they all have a microphone in front of them. They didn't do that for TF Nation because Marty Eisenberg actually managed to get the entire Animated voice cast to record their roles earlier in the week, and so we had David Kay and all the other voice actors. So whenever a character verbalized something in the script reading, it actually sounded like that character. It was fantastic. And yeah, so big thank you to those voice actors who gave their time and voices, we're led to believe, completely free of charge for the project. So yeah, no, that was very, very good. The other notable thing that I'll give a shout out for, on the Saturday night, there was a cosplay competition that was won by a guy who had an amazing Thunderclash costume. And I should have put photos up, but you can find them on Twitter because it's all over Twitter. he caused quite the stir because while he won the cosplay competition, he donated his prize to a little girl who was dressed as Black Arachnia, and said that he wanted to encourage the next generation of people who were going to come along and pick up cosplaying and fandom. And it was just like this. Oh, such a beautiful moment. It was just lovely. And the best thing is that like he was playing this character. He was cosplaying this character who would have done exactly the same thing, and like he literally inhabited the character.
Cool.
Yeah, and it was fantastic. So the cosplay competition has two parts. There's the mechs, which the Thunderclash took out. There's also the human cosplays, and so the human cosplay was won by a lovely friend of mine, Loz, and she dressed up as a human form bot.
Okay.
I think it was Sergeant Suds. So she had all the military paraphernalia, which is light blue colored, and she had all the soap in compartments around her waist, sort of like a Batman utility belt kind of thing. And yeah, that was fantastic. Like the thing that I loved about it was just like BotBots has literally changed Transformers fandom, and I think it's fantastic. Like it's just a lot of fun, and yeah, it went really well. Like we have a lot of photos from TF Nation where it's sort of more traditional normal Transformers interacting with BotBots, and it brings another dimension to those photos. And really enjoyed it.
Cool.
So that's enough about. And of course, there's the dealer room at TF Nation, which you can buy a lot of things. You can spend a lot of money. So yeah. Before I move on with some news, like, does anyone want to talk about anything TF Nation related? Do you want to know anything? Or
would you go again?
Totally.
Yeah.
It's my second time. It's a silly question. I'm going next year as well. Absolutely. I would actually like to encourage more Australians specifically to go and attend TF Nation. I was the only Aussie there this year, and yeah, I'd like there to be more. So yeah, no, I would totally go again. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, good.
Yeah, no, it just sounds incredible. Like, especially a really community-oriented event too. Like, not less of a typical convention, which is what sounds really. That's what makes it sound cool to me. Yeah,
it is. It's a very it's a very warm. It's a very welcoming. It's a very open community, and it's fantastic. It's unlike every other convention that I've been to. Like, it's not Supernova, it's not Oz Comic Con, it's not this massive venue with catering stalls set up everywhere. Like, it's a hotel convention. So if you don't want to go to the panels, you go sit in the bar. There's tons of people sitting in the bar. Honestly, I didn't actually go to that many panels this year. There were a couple of panels about the comics and stuff that I went to, but in general, like, the voice actors that they brought over, I wasn't very familiar with, so I didn't really feel the need to go and listen to their stuff. I went along to a Marty Eisenberg panel because I wanted to know more about things about Transformers Animated. They spent the entire panel talking about Beast Machines.
Oh, that would have been interesting.
So the animated guys.
Well, no, because Marty Eisenberg also ran the show for Beast Machines as well as Transformers Animated, and so. I went along to one of these panels, and yeah, I thought they'd talk about animated, but they talked about Beast Machines. It was really interesting. Like when they were introducing, they said, Marty Eisenberg from Transformers Animated, yeah, and everyone cheered. And then they said Beast Machines, and it was like, yay! It was like a few seconds pause before everyone cheered, and then everyone cheered to be polite. And Eisenberg was just like, "Yep, we know. People would have rather seen 2 more seasons of Beast Wars. We get it."
Yeah, I didn't mind Beast Machines. Were there any little bits of trivia you picked up there, or was it all just? Not
really. It's more. It was just more sort of a bit of a talk about the landscape in which it existed, and how they went about producing the show, things that they spoke about. Like they said that they were pretty much given freedom from Hasbro to decide what they wanted to do with the universe, with the caveat that like it had to be different to Beast Wars, but continuing the story. So hence they sort of came up with this thing about transformation being something that the Transformers learned and got better at, rather than just being an intrinsic skill. And a few things like that. But I think Beast Machines is like 20 years ago in and of itself now, more than 20 years ago probably. So yeah, look, it's insane. It's insane to think that like we're actually nearing we're closer to the 15th anniversary of the Bayformers movies than we are the 10th.
It's not the new thing anymore. It's just
it's not the new thing. It's not the new thing. It's something that happened, and it's something it happened for a while, and even that's in the past.
It's something that fandom survived.
Yeah, it's true. At the start and the end of the convention, they show this wonderful video that they've cobbled together with bits from all sorts of Transformers media. And I say all sorts of Transformers media. There's bits from G1, there's bits from the movies, there's even like sort of some motion pans from the comics, things from video games, and all set to a Stan Bush song. But like it's really sort of gets you into it, and just makes you realize just how much over the last 35 years, how much media has been produced about this franchise. And it really gets you feeling quite warm and open and caring about the franchise. And you can walk around the dealer's room and you can pick up a lot of things from different generations of Transformers that you might not have even been aware of as well. So yeah, there's definitely something for everyone.
Did you meet any of the people like in a bar or anything? Did you meet any of the celebrities there, or did you go to a meetup?
I didn't see so many of the voice cast in the bar. Like I didn't recognize most of them. I only sort of happened to run into Greg Berger as he was walking around the hotel, and grabbed a selfie with him.
Nice.
They had Brian Drummond, who is Jetstorm in Beast Machines, and it's like he was doing a lot of voice, projecting his voice and sort of inhabiting his character and stuff. But I didn't go and see a panel because I wasn't familiar with his work. They had Peter Spellos, who contributed quite a lot actually. So Peter Spellos was, oh gosh, who do I want to say he was? I want to say that he was a shark. So I think he was Skybite, was he? I'm not sure.
That's the only shark I can think of.
I think so too. I'm going to not so subtly Google this while we're talking about it. But so Peter Spellos is a very quite accomplished dramatic actor, and so he did a lot of work on the panels and stuff, and he has an improv performance group that they meet every couple of months in London and sort of train up for a bit of fun performing. And so they actually did a main performance on Saturday night, just on stage. It was essentially theatre sports, but it was sort of theatre sports as led by Peter Spellos, and doing a bunch of things. It was really, really, really good. What am I saying here? If I look through Peter Spellos' listing on Google, it doesn't actually say who he played. Whatever. Anyway, so he put in quite a lot of effort, and was often seen at the bar as well, having quite a good chat and quite an animated chat with a lot of the attendees as well. And also there was one of the big things, one of the things that I really, really, really admire about TF Nation is one of the major vendors to have a stand in the dealer room as a group called Toy Foo, and they collect donations from people year round of toys that they might not want to donate, and they sell them at TF Nation, and every pound that comes in goes to charity. They raised £12,000
Wow.
at TF Nation.
That's amazing.
They've got volunteers from around the community who come along and help run the stand. They do a lot of really good work, and they deserve all the support that they can get. Right. So one of the things that as I was going through Singapore on the way there, I picked up a few siege ratchets from Singapore, and once we got to TF Nation, we went looking around the dealer room and decided, well, hang on. The one thing that none of the dealers at TF Nation have is a siege ratchet. They didn't make it in time. They didn't have them for sale. So I gave Toy Fu one to sell, and sell it they did. So they they got more money than I paid for it to donate to charity. So I'm happy for that.
Oh, that's good.
It was a bit of fun. Yeah.
Cool.
Really enjoyed it. So props to Toy Fu. They were selling they were also selling a Peter Spellos Lego character who is you can't quite see him. He's like the he's like the tiny speck on the shelf behind me.
Oh, of course, yes, I can see it quite well.
Yeah. So anyway, good on everyone at Toy Fu, and big thanks for all of your work. All right, shall we talk about a bit of news?
Sure.
We're going to move swiftly on and get to the news.
Straight into news.
Hasbro news.
That will take us into some news.
What news comes from by yonder?
What do you got?
This guy.
So,
the world's biggest Transformer is now the world's biggest crowdfunding campaign, and it's been extended to run longer because it didn't make its goal. So Transformers War for Cybertron Unicron is still online at Hasbro Pulse, and it has been extended to the 6th of October. There has been a bit of a run on backers in the last week or so, leading up to what everyone thought was going to be the end of the campaign. But as we can see from what's on screen here, it's only actually made it to 5,575 backers. Today would have been its ending date. So Hasbro has decided to extend it. They've given it an extra 5 weeks. It had been creeping up at sort of a few hundred per day. So I think with the extra time, it now seems quite likely that this will hit 8,000 and it will get backed and funded. The fact that they've extended it also, I think, speaks a little bit to the general sentiment in the community, which is that and a lot of people, myself included, figured that with having spent 18 months already designing and prototyping the figure, Hasbro is probably going to try to do it anyway.
No doubt.
So what we actually had thought would happen would be at the end of August, they would just sort of like take it down and just go, yeah, it got close enough and we're going to do it. But instead, the fact that they've extended it, I think, means they're going to really actually run it out and try to hit that 8,000 figure. And it seems likely that they're not going to prop it up with fake numbers or anything like that. Or they will, and it'll just be how it goes this month. We don't know. So there is some confusion over exactly what makes up the figure on this page, whether this is 5,575 backers plus international pre-orders yet to be counted, or if Hasbro actually added the numbers in, because about a week ago, this number was at about just nearing 4,000. And in a one of the live broadcasts answering questions about the figure, Hasbro did say that the international pre-order number had hit about 1,500 orders. Then a few days later, it jumped by about 1,500. They did say that this wouldn't include those pre-orders, but then it seems like they may have changed their mind on that. We don't really know. What we do know is that Australian pre-orders, at least from EB Games, definitely count, but we don't know if that number has actually been reflected here or not. Initially, EB Games told us that they would not add their numbers into the grand total until the end of the campaign, or possibly the end of August. We don't know. But with Hasbro announcing 1,500 international pre-orders, it seems like they may have come and knocking and collected those numbers a little bit sooner.
Yeah, it's actually quite surprising me that the number for the international pre-orders is so low. I would have expected more than 1,500.
It is a little bit surprising. I agree. It's not entirely clear what constitutes that number, if that's from Takara Tomy Mall, whether that includes the pre-orders from EB Games, because as we said, they told us that they wouldn't give Hasbro their numbers until the end of the month, but they may have asked for them early. So, yeah, it's a little bit hard to say whether there's still a bit of an international pre-order bump to go or not. What we do know from a post that Ozformers made earlier today is that despite the 5-week extension in the US, the EB Games and the Zing pre-order will not be extended, and tonight will be the end of it. Unless we get to tomorrow and find that it's still up. We don't really know. We'll see what happens, but I don't know that extending the Australian pre-order time will really make that much difference, because we probably have gotten the best deal out of anyone on the planet for this. All we have to do to
I think ours is technically cheaper.
Technically, yes, because we don't have to pay for shipping. Also, we don't. I don't know if this is going to actually come back to bite Hasbro and EB, but they took that number of $575 and they basically did a currency conversion of it on the day and arrived at 850 Australian dollars. But that number has to include GST. And so they've advertised it at $850, and so people have bought in at $850. They can't go and add GST onto that, which means, yes, we actually did get one of the best deals on the planet. And also we can walk into a store and pick it up, so we don't have to pay for shipping. So yeah, we did get a really good deal. Also, we get to go in on Unicron for $100 down. We don't have to pay the rest. But if you're in the States, and this is actually one of the major reasons that Hasbro's extended their campaign, if you're in the States, you have to front up $575 by the 6th of August. 6th of October now. Otherwise, you're not a backer for Unicron. Whereas we get to back it for $100, and we don't have to pay the rest until 2021 when this figure is actually ready to ship.
It kind of seems poorly managed to me. This whole campaign.
Well, I'm thinking that someone originally, like say a couple of months ago or something, just said as a laugh, "Hey, why don't we put up a really big Unicron, make him really pricey, and see who wants to buy it?" And then they see all these backers and like, "Shit, we actually got to make this now."
It's a little bit more complicated than that. Like, they have spent 18 months already on this project. So, like, it didn't happen a few months ago. There's been a lot said about the crowdfunding aspect of the campaign. Personally, I feel that if they had not actually done it as a crowdfund, I don't think they would have gotten as much mainstream press as they have. Like, I've literally got people who I know are not actually into Transformers who are like, "Hey, have you seen Unicron?"
Yeah, I've got a couple of friends that sent it my way. Yeah.
Conversely, there's also people who I know are into Transformers who don't know about it, and so
really,
yeah, this has been happening quite a lot. That people who have, for whatever reason, have not heard that there's a crowdfunding Unicron. Like, maybe they're not hanging around the communities that we hang around. Maybe they're not that into it on Twitter. They might just have a passing interest here and there. Making it a crowdfund means that sites like Gizmodo and Kotaku and IGN talk about it, rather than just going, "Yep, this came up and it's a pre-order, go order it." Like, it's, "Oh, hey, they're doing a crowdfund for this. They need to get this by this time." It's interesting. It gives you something to root for, and so I think the fact that it's a crowdfund has actually given them a lot more exposure in the media than they would have gotten had they just done a traditional pre-order. So, I don't really want to fault them for. I don't really want to fault them for doing it. I think they could have actually come out and said, "Right, it's a crowdfund, and we're going to accept pledges from the States. We're going to accept pre-orders from international, and this is how it's going to work." But instead, it's all happened very ad hoc, and it's happened by the seat of everyone's pants. People are like, "Oh, EB Games has put up a pre-order for it. I didn't expect that to happen. Maybe they could have announced it better." But yeah. So, have you pre-ordered it?
I haven't. I'm quite happy with my Universal Dominator Unicron from Takara Tomy. I got, I think, what was that, 2010?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm very happy with that. I think, the backers So when it says, the 5,000, blah blah blah, is that how many people are paid in full, or how many people have paid a deposit?
We don't know.
I suppose it'd be varying depending on where they've actually done it from, and also as Jason said, we don't know anything for certain.
Yeah, I mean, I think a fair amount of collectors are going to have to probably move their whole collection out of their room in order to fit this guy into it. But I reckon he's going to definitely be a talking point whether you have him or not. He looks cool and terrifying.
It's true.
And the didn't also come with a couple of incentives when they extended the.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
So I think it's always been scheduled to come with these, but they've been sort of like drip feeding people news about what they're going to do with it. So they have announced in the last week or so that he does come with a little Galvatron. It's not especially. It's not especially detailed. It's not especially well painted. It seems.
It's just purple with an orange arm cannon. That's it.
Yeah,
and it's also based on that awful Titans Return Galvatron too. So it's just like, I find it incredibly hard to be excited about it.
And they have also announced that depending on whether you prefer Unicron with a pointy beard, or with a chin, you will be able to swap the chin. So
yeah, I wonder if that's the first time a Transformers toy has come with a
swappable facial hair.
Yeah, because some of them have swappable faces.
I don't know. Japanese Beast Wars went in some pretty weird directions.
Yeah, that's true. I know one of those toys comes with a pair of testicles.
Well, I thought that was Devastator, but yeah. Okay. So look, it's been extended. It's been extended by 5 weeks. The internet seems alternately indifferent or angered by this. I don't really know why. It makes no difference. If you've backed it already, that's fine. You're locked in as a backer. If you haven't backed it, you're probably still not going to. But there are definitely some portions of the fan base that now have the ability to actually save up. That they've got an extra 5 weeks, a couple of paychecks to save up their $575 if in the States. Couple of extra weeks, that could make the difference, and it could swing it in the direction of it getting made.
Just wonder what could be next.
I don't think anything needs to be next. Like HasLab is Hasbro's very, very, very collector oriented, fan oriented crowdfunding thing. They're not Hasbro proper. Needing to churn out a new product in these lines every year.
Yeah,
this is very special. This is going to take them over a year to make.
And he does look really awesome. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not particularly interested in it, and I also don't like that some people that are interested in it are trying to get people that are interested in it to not be interested in it.
Like there's some shitty behavior going on in the fan base, and if it wasn't about Unicron, it would be about something else.
That's a good point.
There's always going to be that, half gatekeeping, half overly negative, half, I want what you have type of thing.
Yeah.
So
look, it's an expensive figure. Not everyone can afford it, and I think this is also something that we've seen with the rising price of some Masterpiece figures as well, which is that there is a bit of negativity about it because people can't afford it, and because people can't afford it, then they're going to shout it down. It doesn't have to happen that way, and I think ultimately cooler heads will prevail, and it's just a bit of annoyance from the fan base.
So were you looking at picking this one up at all?
No. How about you?
See, I was ready to pull the trigger when that Zine pre-order went up. Like, I looked it down and was like, this is amazing value, and I love the look of the figure. It's going to be a big, eventful thing. I was ready to do it, and then one thing stuck out to me, and it's that I'm not prepared to pay nearly $1,000 for something with single jointed elbows. I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah, I'm a bit...
Everything else, wonderful, love it. Not the elbows. Yeah. I can't abide by that.
Yeah, I'm just wondering. it's so huge and so many pointy bits. I hope there's no QC issues, because that looks like it could potentially be a huge fuck around. If
there's a QC issue with that, it's going to be disastrous. Like you're going to have people writing articles about it. Because there's been QC issues on these big things before. Well, like Metroplex was all floppy. Triptychon had that. Like if you,
it's got the hip joint.
The big thing is like the hip joint would just shred itself apart. So if something like that was to happen here, I think that'd be disastrous. Just because it's nearly $1,000. Like people are gonna. It's a serious investment here. Like
yeah, they got a lot hanging on. If it ends up being like a QC nightmare, then it could be the end of Hasbro Pulse.
Like imagine you spend a whole bunch of money on like a top end game console, right? And then all of a sudden, like, you put a disc in and it just doesn't work, or it breaks and stuff like that. It's like, think of something like that, and then even more expensive. And also, you're not really going to get a replacement because it's a one-off thing. So it's like, that's why it's releasing in 2021, because like if we screw this up, people are going to hate us for it. So that might explain a massive release window for a figure that it looks essentially done. Like that's not paint. That's color. That's not paint. That's colored plastic.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like they sort of made the whole thing and then they like cut it off and like destroyed the factory and the tools that were used to make it. And now they're like, if we get funded, we're gonna have to build all those machines again to make more of this.
It's like we made a singular steel mold. just put these one couple prototypes, but like, yeah, there's those videos where they've transformed they'll transform the figure and stuff. It's like, that's not really possible on a resin model. So like, I mean, they're using actual plastic already for this thing. Which says to me they're pretty confident in having it get there. And whether or not that confidence comes from the idea that, it's going to be popular enough to reach 8,000, or we're going to do everything we can to boost it to 8,000. So obviously there's the extension or whatever stuff, getting it in all these other retailers. Like, they're going to get it to that point, because if they don't, then it's a huge investment down the drain. Because you also have to consider, right, like, what's the greater potential loss? Is the greater potential loss, not making? I forgot what I was going to say. So is the greater potential just going to be like not making a figure in the first place, or is it going to be making it at a lower price where there's not as much profit to actually account for things, or is the greater loss going to be as a result of having gone through all that R&D and production and prototyping, and then not actually producing it in the first place? So all that money goes to nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, look, you could well make the point that our slightly higher prices on Legends and Deluxes for the last couple of years have been paying for Unicron.
Oh, great. So we can just have it free then, can't we?
Yeah.
Thanks, Hasbro.
If only they still put robot points on boxes, then you could cut them out and send them in for a Unicron.
Oh, man. Imagine that. I'm still shocked at the have they shown the box this guy's coming in? Or...
no, but we do know that he weighs 9 kilograms.
Yeah, so if you get him home delivered, he's probably going to show up on a pallet.
Well, so this is actually the great thing. This is the great thing about pre-ordering him from EB Games, is that when you pre-order him on the EB Games website, it asks if you want $6.95 delivery.
$6.95?
Yeah.
My God.
That's their standard delivery price. That's how much I paid to get Ectotron delivered. It might be how much I paid to get Unicron delivered.
Yeah, actually, now you mention it, I paid that to get Ectotron. But yeah, I mean, I have actually paid more than this for a single figure, and people who want to get this, go ahead, get it.
What did you pay for? What, if you don't mind me asking?
I bought a meat and box Black Zarak.
Fair enough too. Yes.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Yeah, and I did. I was able to pay it all off. I didn't just do it in one fell swoop. I found someone who was very generous, and yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be in that same boat. EB Games is being hopefully generous. Hopefully they don't turn around and at the middle of October and say, okay, you pre-ordered this for 100. We're going to need the rest of it right now.
No, so EB's website does say very clearly on the pre-order page that you'll be asked to pay the full amount before it ships. Just before it ships, which means you've got until 2021.
Yeah, but if it is EB Games, it means you're probably going to go into the store and it's going to be opened.
Probably.
So,
let's not go to that. Like,
don't go there.
I would say it would be unlikely that you'll go to the store and find your pre-ordered Unicron opened. This isn't going to be a figure.
I'm not joking there. That is,
yeah, but this isn't going to be a figure that is on sale in store and thus open. Like, it's going to be things that you pre-ordered.
Well, actually, if you mention that, I would not be surprised at all if EB bumps up some of those pre-order numbers themselves and puts them out in their stores. Just like,
maybe, yeah. Look, maybe. But here's the thing: we're never going to know. Like, EB's not going to say, "Hey, we got 468 pre-orders" or anything like that. We're not going to know. They're just going to silently tell Hasbro how many orders they've got.
Yeah,
true. Like, I think it's just like a big ticket item, that sort of thing that Zing especially likes to put out in their stores. Maybe,
and maybe they will do it. It's their prerogative if they actually do want to submit it, because it's not a crowdfunding situation for Australia and for Asia. It's simply order this from Hasbro, put your deposit down, and this is when it will get delivered. So they might.
It'll just be interesting if the store does get them in, if they're gonna, maybe have one hanging from the roof in planet mode. But make a pleasant change from all their 50% off.
I feel like it might be an OH&S issue if they do. Can you imagine someone being admitted to hospital because Unicron fell on them? It's a 9 kilogram weight. Like, that would be really quite.
It's essentially a bowling ball that's just been expanded a bit.
Yeah, well, it's actually heavier than a bowling ball, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, as long as you get to keep a Unicron at the end, it's all right by me.
Oh, yeah.
I would say if you walk into an EB Games store and Unicron falls on you, you should be able to take Unicron home.
There's one thing I haven't mentioned, which I looked at it a couple of weeks ago. I really like, this is one thing I really like about this. His design is asymmetrical. Like, if you look at the circles on his chest and around his crotch plate, you can see that they're actually not the same as each other. So he actually looks a lot more unique, like his animation model.
Yeah, so the animation model didn't have that symmetry as well. So he even transforms the same way that he did in the movie for the most part.
Yeah. Pretty sweet. I wonder if they're going to trickle out an Orson Welles voice chip.
Would it just be his Unicron performances, or might it be the best of Orson Welles? Unicron can be Citizen Kane as well, but also like Orson Welles very famously did not think much of the role of Unicron. Like, when he was interviewed, he was like, "Oh, it's this movie about transforming robots, and I play a planet." Or something.
Yeah, and
like
he was
very
close
dismissive
to being completely removed from the movie, because they couldn't do anything with his voice, and then at the end they sort of slowed it down and made it bigger, and we got the end result of Unicron. It was just interesting how close he came to being cut from the movie entirely.
As it stands, his final performance.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, let's move on.
Okay.
There's more to talk about this week. While Unicron costs us $850 for the price of a little bit more than half of that, you can pick yourself up an MP44. He is out now. We are talking about Masterpiece Convoy 3.0. It's even got it on the box there. It's the 3.0. Like,
Jason, did you just make me feel good about the Masterpiece Prime price?
I did. I did. That's correct. So I've got an Instagram account that has a lot of photographs of MP44 on screen here, and yeah. So as you can see, Convoy Ver 3.0 is as he's identified on the box, because apparently they couldn't find space for the SION in version, but whatever. Yeah, no, he's out. He's available. He's ready to show, and he's also ready to strut his stuff on the dance floor. Apparently, if this photograph is to be believed. So, this user TFO Scarlin has been taking a lot of photos of his MP44 over the last couple of days, and very, very impressive it is.
It really does look good.
I'm totally here for this figure. I'll be getting mine this week, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. So, yeah.
I have to admit, the first few pictures I saw of him, I actually thought it was a third-party Masterpiece figure. And then it says, "Oh no, this is the official version 3." I was like, that's official." It looks cool though, and I like the Starscream picture of Starscream's head coming out for that one shot that you saw.
That one.
Yeah. That looks really cool. Good touch.
I'm still holding out hope that I might be able to pick this one up, just because I remember Megatron did drop fairly significantly a while after release. Like, not the KRs, but the actual figure itself.
You're right. It did. You can generally get Megatron, I think, for about $250 to $300 now.
Yeah, so I feel like a lot of people are in the same boat where the price right now is just too high, but I think we can safely assume that it is going to be viable at some point in the future, and I'll be very happy when that day comes.
Yeah. So a couple of things have been discovered now that he's available, which is that the voice chip, which is in his back, the voice chip actually does have Peter Cullen's voice on it. We did assume that the voice chip would only be the Japanese voice actor, but no, it definitely has the English phrases and Peter Cullen's voice on it.
Nice. I was just amazed with the damage detailing on his helmet then, or on his face. That looks amazing.
Looks very much like he did when he was on his deathbed in the movie, right?
Yeah. Like I said before, it looks cool, but I honestly thought this was a third-party toy at first. I think it was just the chest and the blueness of the windows looked a bit, I don't know, not off, but different.
Yeah, it is different. Like, I think we all have a particular stylized version about how we remember Optimus Prime from the cartoon. And I think when you actually do put this figure up against the cartoon, you see that the cartoon accuracy actually, it sort of betrays our memory. Like our memories of the figure, I feel these days are actually more colored by what MP1 and MP10 actually look like. And I think we tend to transplant that look onto the cartoon, whereas what Takara's done here is they've gone back and looked at the cartoon and gone, yeah, actually the proportions on MP10 are not right. We need to actually go back and do it again.
Yeah.
MP10, in just the general consciousness of the fan base, has replaced actual G1 Optimus Prime as the definitive version, when it's not actually that. It's just we sell ourselves identity. This is the definitive version. Therefore, this is the accessible version. This is what it looks. This is what it's always looked like, and it's actually a lot more like this.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
So look, he's out. He's over $500 at the moment. As Max says, if you wait a bit, you might be able to pick him up a little bit cheaper. You may have to wait for a reissue. I think the price of Megatron. So Megatron became scarce on his first issue, and then they reissued him a few months later. So I think that's when the prices came down for Megs. But we'll see how he goes. Let's push on through the rest of the news. There's a couple of stories. There's a couple of stories I want to get to. Number one is the announcement of some new Generation Selects figures, and they are already on sale in at least in Singapore. I've seen them on sale in a couple of places there. So we are looking at. So Hasbro has been cranking up the Powerdashers in the Siege line. This one is a Powerdasher Zetar. He is a repaint of Brunt with a dunce cone. Drill bit on his head, and he looks pretty cool. I like it. I'm looking forward to getting my hands on this one.
Drill tanks never get old.
Sorry,
drill tanks never get old. Just this stupid little concept.
Drill tanks are awesome.
Yeah.
There's also the deluxe class Nightbird that's been announced as well. Not really looking to pick this one up myself. How do you guys feel about it?
I think that definitely not this Nightbird. I think there have been other Nightbird releases that are a lot better looking for a Nightbird representative on your shelf. I don't see anyone really getting excited for this.
It's got a nice car mode. That's the best I can say for it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
So I think the other Nightbird that would come to mind would be the Takara Legends one, which is a repaint of RC.
Yes.
Yeah.
Didn't they also do like a little standalone statue of her, or was that something else? That was probably something. But yeah, I was also thinking of the RC repaint.
Yeah. So yeah, this might be the first time they've actually done a Nightbird in the West rather than being a Japanese one, but. Yeah, we'll see how we go with that. So that's two new Generation Select figures. It's interesting. Out of the Siege line, there's been a lot of figures that have gone into the Generation Selects or store exclusives, and less figures that have actually been in sort of the general waves that you pick up in stores. This might be the way that we go in the lines in the future. We'll see how we go. Along with the Generation Selects, there are also some Studio Series announcements, which, considering I'm not really that fond of movie bots, like the amount of interest that I end up having in Studio Series is quite astonishing for me. So this is a leader class Shockwave. Now, Shockwave is one of the characters that was not badly served by his initial toy in the Revenge of the Dark and the Moon line. And so it is interesting to see a redo of him. He's he's probably going to be a much improved figure, even so the original was quite well received. And what are the little dudes with him?
Wheelie and can't remember. Wheelie's on the right, the blue guy.
Wheelie and Megatron. We're going to call him Megatron.
Okay, I can roll with that.
Yeah, Wheelie and Megatron come with leader class Shockwave. There is another Constructicon. There's Scavenger. So he has a very very obvious alt mode, but his robot mode looks a little bit insane. But sure, whatever, we'll go with it. He will, of course, help you form Devastator if you are indeed attempting to acquire all of the Constructicons. So there's another one. There's Mixmaster.
I love the fact that they can get away with selling off these. Like the ridiculous Constructicon designs as individual figures. Actually,
this Mixmaster looks a lot better than the actual Devastator that came in Revenge of the Fallen, because that one's barrel was like twice the size of the rest of it.
He does look much better, doesn't he? Also, I noticed that the barrel appears to be duplicated. So maybe there's an outer and an inner barrel or something. Like there's definitely enough pieces going around on his arms and on his shoulders to make more than one barrel.
No, I think the barrel on his back consists of 4 pieces. That's what we're seeing representative there, I think.
Maybe, yeah. See how it goes. Yeah. And besides that, there's also a Movie 1 Voyager class Megatron coming in for another treatment as well.
I was going to say, wasn't this guy just released? But that was the movie Masterpiece version.
Yeah, there was a movie Masterpiece version of the 2007 Megatron. This is the Studio Series release of 2007 Megatron, and yeah.
The interplay between the Voyager and later size classes in this line is like really crazy to me. Like, because if there's stuff like in the initial waves, there was like Voyagers and leaders that were the same size as each other, And then if you look at this Megatron, the leader Megatron, and that leader Shockwave, leader Shockwave is on the old Voyager Revenge of a Fallen Megatron. Shockwave and this Megatron are sharing parts with the Voyager Revenge of a Fallen Megatron, and not like specific parts, but shared tooling and overall skeleton. And then this Voyager Megatron is also sharing parts of a skeleton with the leader Megatron. So there's always interplay between these two separate size classes.
Yeah, interesting. I don't have that much more to say about these. I do want that Powerdasher. Not so much up with Nightbird, but we'll see how it goes, eh?
I think I would like to get the Powerdasher just because, I mean, I was reading up about them and they, the previous toys were G1 and impossibly rare.
Yeah, because of the way that they were acquired into the line, and I think they were mail away exclusives in G1. So yeah, they are pretty rare. But it's nice to see. So it's nice to see them coming back and getting an homage. Now, I don't know what they're going to do for G1 homages next year if they've exhausted Powerdashers and everything this year. We'll see. Don't know. Don't know what's going to happen. We'll see.
Maybe we'll get the the ones that you put water on and it changes their paint.
A hypercolor transformer.
Yeah.
maybe not.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yes, we'll see. All right, now, not so sure if the next story is... we're not going to get that one just yet. I did insert a small note into the run sheet, but I haven't actually put up a story on the video to pair it with. But if you have been holding out on purchasing Springer from Amazon, good news, he's been sighted at Kmart. So you will find he's a Voyager. He's recommended RIP is $50. However, if you are very nice and very careful and you ask the staff nicely, you will be able to price match him to other retailers, which are currently doing Voyagers for $40. So you'll get him a decent discount. So if you are in the market for Springer, and I was handling Springer tonight, and it's a nice looking figure. There's definitely about to be a bit of an assault on retail from Springer.
I've been doing assault on retail for the last month or so, trying to get 3 refractors. I've only found 1 so far.
Well, that's funny you might mention that, because Hasbro had a fan preview event in Singapore this week, at which they did show people, if you can see it up the back there, they did show people the new Generation 1 toy colored version of Refractor in the 3-pack, and it looks mighty impressive. So it's kind of annoying. Hasbro did have a fan preview event for Power of the Primes here. That's a good 2 years ago now, and it was it was a bit disappointing that they showed some things and hid others. But still, it is what it is. So we're just going to go through some of the photographs that were taken. There's Omega Supreme. He is this year's Titan class figure.
That is the box art.
That is the box for him. Yep. He's a big box. This figure has been quite of interest to a lot of people around the community, which is the Prowl repaint as Decepticon Barricade. He looks fantastic. I'm really, really interested in getting this figure, so I'm going to be hunting for him when he actually does come on sale. He will be a regular release. So is Autobot Mirage, and Thundercracker is starting to turn up at retail stores overseas. He hasn't turned up in Australia yet, but he can't be too far off, we hope. I suspect that Thundercracker and Springer might be wave mates. We'll see how we go.
Yeah.
A quick look at the cell shaded animation color Optimus Prime and Megatron was also offered to Singapore fans. I'm really interested in those figures. I want them to be my Siege Optimus and Megatron. And the Reflector 3-pack actually looks really quite special looking at some of these photos. It's in a nice big sort of camera themed box. There's sort of a bit of a camera bump on it. I might just skip over.
I don't know if they have any other pictures of him. I think there was only the box.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
No, they definitely got him out. There we go.
Okay.
So the box has a bit of a bump on the side for where the camera. So it actually looks like a camera, and so not only does it come with 3 refractors with differing paint jobs to make them look like the G1 versions of Reflector, which was a mail away. There's a few extra bits to stick on. So there's a camera flash and a push button apparatus and the sort of the viewfinder part to stick on the middle lot as well. So they do look mighty impressive. Very much interested in that. And I believe he also comes with a Kremzik.
Yes.
Is it Reflector that comes with Kremzik? No, I thought that was maybe it is. Yeah.
I thought it was associated Megatron that comes with that one. Maybe I'm misremembering, but
well, that's Henkei Megatron.
Yeah, that was Henkei Megatron.
Associated Megatron.
Didn't hear a word of that, Max.
So I thought it was just saying the same thing you said, so never mind.
With the cell shaded, are they retail or are they Hasbro Pulse?
I don't believe they're Hasbro Pulse exclusives. They might be available from Pulse. They are showing up at Toys R Us in Singapore and Hong Kong. I don't think they'll be online exclusives, but as far as US availability, I'm not entirely sure. But oh my goodness, they look fantastic. I mean, look,
it really does look great.
Siege Optimus is a really great looking figure in the first place, but just the animation color really makes him pop, and it also means that there's no shit all over him like the battle damage that they currently have in the Siege line. So I'm really happy with that. There are a couple of other figures in the 35th anniversary line. There is a Blue Streak repaint of Prowl, and there's also a Sound Blaster repaint and a chest remold of Soundwave. So he's the black version of Soundwave that can take 2 tapes in his chest.
Nice. Very nice.
So yeah, well, may you be asking, why is it that they get the fan preview events in Singapore and we don't? I think it's a very fair question, and I've actually put it to Hasbro that we would like to see some fan previews of these things actually occurring in Australia instead of just dribbling out stuff onto the retail shelves as it happens. So we'll see what happens.
You'll get blocked. That'll be it.
Honestly, I would encourage every single person who actually listens to the podcast or hangs out in our little old Facebook group. I encourage you all to go to Hasbro's website, find the Australian customer service email, and email them, and then say, hey, we would like to see some fan preview events here. There's a lot of us out there. We're all waiting for you to bring these things to Australia, and we'd like you to actually engage with the community that buys your things.
Yeah, because Australian retail really doesn't get the toys that people, Transformers and stuff. Most everyone buys them online, and by the time they hit Australian retail, it's like, so what? Got it already.
I wouldn't say everyone buys them online. Like, people are still buying these things at retail. Like we do see this. We see a lot of people in the Facebook group post sightings, and people then follow up those sightings with questions, and then go and get those figures that are shown as sightings. So there's definitely an appetite for the figures. You said earlier that you were unable to buy 3 refractors, so it means someone out there has been buying the refractors.
And it also means the Kmart that I got him from only got 1 box.
So I'm told that there's going to be a flood of refractors soon. I believe the retailers are actually being offered boxes that only have refractors in them.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. The one thing I do know is that the G1 refractor pack, they are fantastic. Like, the colors on them look amazing. They're way more colorful than the normal refractors, and I really can't wait to get my hands on them.
Yeah, I would have gone for this repaint just to get 3 refractors, but I'm going with the standard one just because it's closer to the animation model, and I already have a G1 reflector. And yeah, this guy still looks great though. It's just I'm hoping that the extra accessories for this guy, maybe a third-party company will sort of generate them for the retail release of Refractor.
Yeah, maybe. So it looks like the shutter switch becomes an arm shield for some of the refractors. The viewfinder becomes shoulder pads for the central bot, and not sure about the rightmost bot, but yeah. So it does look like the extra pieces, like they've got 5mm ports and they can attach to the robot modes. There was also a report that came out. I think it must have been a few days ago, saying that one of the original solicitation forms of these actually identified them as a Hascon exclusive, which is interesting because there is no Hascon this year, but it does seem to imply that there was going to be one.
Yeah, I hadn't heard about that, but it's a bit weird. It's announcing it as an exclusive to an event that didn't happen.
No, it wasn't announced as an exclusive, but its product SKU identified it as a Hascon exclusive, but it is there is obviously no Hascon.
Yeah.
There. Other than that, let's move on. There's one other story I'd like to talk about briefly, just from a not from a major thing, but Hasbro caused a bit of a storm in the community this week when they announced that they will be intending to phase out plastic from new toy and game packaging starting in 2020. Now, the story didn't necessarily say that it was going to happen to Transformers, but we have been seeing figures turn up on shelves, especially in the Cyberverse line, where there is no plastic in their packaging. The figure is anchored in. There's no blister around the figure. It's you can pick up the package, you can touch the toy. Now we've seen Siege boxes move to a more sort of a cardboard model with a plastic insert, and it makes me wonder if they might stick with that cardboard but just remove the plastic and tie the figure in using the paper ties that we used to see around, I think around the early Classics or Universe was when we saw paper.
Yeah, because I was just thinking about it the other day. I was like, I remember when the toys had the paper ties on them. I was just wondering what happened to them. It looks like they might be coming back, but I don't know why they were taken out in the first place. It's very strange.
I mean, probably a cost-saving thing. But yeah. So it says the plans include plastic elements like polybags, elastic bands, shrink wrap, window sheets, and blister packs. They're gonna phase those out. Now, it doesn't specifically say that they're going to do it for Transformers. It does say. So the TFW report says all their brands, not only Transformers, but the actual press release from Hasbro did identify a few product lines, and Transformers was not one of them. I think it's interesting, and we'll talk about this when we get to your new acquisitions. We are starting to see some figures that are packed without plastic, at least without plastic windows. So all of the Generation Selects figures come in really quite nice, sturdy brown cardboard boxes. And we are seeing some of the gift sets, like the Alpha Strike and the Phantom Strike Force, actually come with no windows on the box whatsoever, and a great preference for the artwork.
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing. Well, I really do enjoy the artwork of the boxes, and it's nice to, when you have an empty box, it's nice to also have just something that's nice to look at, instead of something that looks like it should hold a toy, but there's no toy in there.
Yeah,
in my mind, it also looks a bit more premium.
Yeah, I think the boxes without the windows do, depending on what they are. But I think it does present a challenge for retail when you're walking through the store and you can no longer actually see the toys if you've got a full front box. But I think also the fact that they might be able to tie the figures in and at least. You could stick with the Siege boxes as they are without the plastic, with a few changes to them. But yeah, so the plastic insert, they'd need to work around that, but that's fine. It just means packaging the figures slightly differently.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting if it does actually happen to Transformers, because again, wasn't specifically mentioned, but could be happening.
Look, one of the reasons why I brought the story up is because people freaked out, and I don't know why, because people seem to think that the packaging is going to turn to shit, but no, the packaging is just going to change. It will be different. It's already different year on year anyway. We've had large blister packs with comic books in them, the smaller ones without. Packaging evolves. They evolve the packaging to cram more of them into a single box. So we'll see how they go. They might start. They might even go back to packaging some of the figures in alt mode because they're a little bit more compact. Who knows?
Yeah,
well, you're not selling something through the window. They might as well.
Yeah, exactly. Now, a couple of things, a couple of small stories. Sorry. So I have taken quite a liking to Newage figures in the last few days. So Newage is doing a Starscream, and they've shown a few. I think these look like screen caps from a video. That gives a bit of a look at how he looks and how he works and how he moves and functions. I'm really, really looking forward to seeing this figure. I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of Newage figures now. So yeah, watch out for that, because that's basically going to be what happens in my new acquisitions these days. So yeah, there's Newage Starscream. Newage Megatron is also a thing. He's quite impressive. He's like a little mini masterpiece. Look at the face on that.
Yeah, are these guys like fully Transformers, or are these just robots?
Oh no, the Newage figures are transformable.
Okay.
You can see his gun in the background there.
Wow.
Yeah, so yeah, he's great. Newage, the figures are really, really small. Like this is smaller than a Legend scale figure generally, but they're highly articulated. They're really, really nicely made. And I picked up a couple at TF Nation, so I'm very into them now. And it's nice because they're $30 or $40. They're not a massive investment.
Yeah, because looking at that picture, if you told me that was Legend scale, I'd say, how? It looks like it's got a lot of engineering going into that. This looks amazing.
They are quite clever with their engineering. Jazz has a couple of clever things about the way the doors fold in upon themselves and form his legs and stuff like that. So, really looking forward to it. And apparently Megatron is the new battleground, because Magic Square is also doing a little Megatron as well. Actually, you know what? Is this a little one or is he not? I think he's a little one. Maybe not. Maybe he's actually their masterpiece scale one. We'll see.
Yeah, because those reflectors look pretty big.
Yeah, I might be wrong about that, but yeah. So Magic. So anyway, so this is Magic Square's Legends Megatron. In gun mode, he has the wilting barrel, just like every other Megatron, apparently. But yeah, no, he looks he looks pretty fun.
Yeah, I like the. I've always liked the Abraham Lincoln statue chair look that he has. I've always liked that.
If you're going to enslave people, you may as well take over the Lincoln statue.
Yep.
That is pretty much the end of the news. Let's talk about things that we've done and places that we've been and stuff. Let's go back to a 3-up pose. So it's been a few weeks since we've done a podcast. Now, Max, you've got a figure for us.
I do have a figure for us. It's not.
Oh, hang on. I took Max out of the stream. Sorry, Max. There you go. You have the con.
I have the con.
You're
This
the full
is
screen.
not the most exciting thing in the world, but So it is literally just another Unfactory Seeker.
Hmm.
This
Nice.
is Red Wing.
And he has a red cape as well.
I've spoken ad nauseum about these and why they're the single greatest action figure ever created. I love it. I have noticed slightly in this one, he does bear the common Iron Factory issue of these, slightly too tight joints that make you feel like you're going to rip it apart half the time. But also, it's made of Iron Factory plastic, so nothing ever actually breaks. It just makes really horrible noises. And yes, for maybe the most obscure Seeker areas, they decided to give him Starscream's coronation set in a lovely candy red because why not?
Yeah, no, indeed. Why not? You may as well make out like all of your Seekers will be coronated eventually and then turn to dust.
Pretty much. Yeah. Classic characters, never said a single line of dialogue, but he's got a nice color scheme and there's a cool backstory to his creation. So you kind of need him in your Seekers. And this guy came out just before they actually made an official Red Wing too, so he's getting a bit of love recently.
Yeah. He has. When I saw Red Wing on your acquisition list, I thought it was actually the Generation Select one, and then I read Iron Factory. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Damn.
Yeah, well, the thing is that because I've got these Iron Factory ones, just never need to buy another Seeker. They're just too good. True.
Right. So that's your acquisitions for the week?
That's me. I don't think I've had anything else in months, and it feels bad that this is the first thing, and then the next thing I buy is probably going to be another one, but they're good.
No, fair enough. I did get a couple of Iron Factory bots while I was overseas, but we'll talk about them soon. Now, Bradley, we were talking earlier about the gift sets, not the gift sets, but actually they are gift sets. The plastic windowless siege sets, the Alpha Strike and the Phantom Strike packs. I'm going to put you on screen if you'd like to talk briefly about them. Tell us what you think.
Well, these are the boxes. The figures are out, but these are just the boxes. And I was a bit shocked when I got them because I thought they were the same size, but that's a Decepticon pack. That's the Autobot pack. Very big size difference there, which was cool. I bought the Alpha Strike Force just because I want to get a clone Sideswipe. I don't have a toy of him yet. Obviously, I got this so I can complete my Seeker trio when Thundercracker shows up at Aussie Retail.
I guess for the size, I mean, the Autobot one is a deluxe plus some bits, whereas the Decepticon one's a Voyager plus some bits. So it makes sense that they're a little bit bigger.
Yeah, correct. I was gonna say, I've also gotten I got Brunt a couple of weeks ago. He's do I have him here? Yes, I do.
If you don't, I do.
Yeah. I only got this guy because he's a companion piece to Triptychon. That's why I bought some of the other figures. And like I was showing before, I do have a Refractor, but I'm going to wait until I get another 2 before I open him up. And I wanted to say something about the Autobot Strike, Alpha Strike Counterforce. I did see a lot of people reporting that their Slam Dance, particularly the Tank Grand Slam, the little tank guy, apparently some people have opened him up and he turns into powder. Like just one of his feet just completely crumbles, and I must be one of the lucky ones because mine is pretty minty. He does have a lot of very, very, very tight joints and a lot of friction joints that need to have like a little nub sort of worn down before it can bend and snap into place. So I'm thinking that could be leading to a few breakages, but very happy to have him. Really like the alt mode for Sideswipe. This is my first interaction with this mode, and I really do like it, especially the air vents going up on the side.
He is really nice.
Yep. So, happy to have him. Now I just need to find characters that I can put these Target Masters with, because you get you get 4 Target Masters, sorry. The fourth one fourth one goes with Ectotron. He's a little PKE meter. But the
He was
other,
a repaint of Taraxodon.
yeah, and the other three are actual, robot into a gun sort of target masters. So now I just need to figure out who on my classic shelf I want to give target masters to. Might give one to Titans Returns Quake. But yeah, the only other thing. No, it doesn't really show up at all, does it? You can see that it's black, but you can't see the details on it. This is a Shapeways piece I had printed out to make Titans Returns Tarn a lot more official Titan Tarn looking. And yeah, I still got to get it painted. And I really love the Slimer that comes with Ectotron. But yeah, that's my acquisitions. And how about you, Jason? What do you got?
I'm going to go back onto the screen share because what am I going to do? I'm going to put this up here. I put a bunch of photos in the Facebook group. So I'm just going to go through them here. So, this is sort of the main bot collection. There's going sort of in order of size. What do we got? We got Siege Jetfire. There is a Generation Select Combat Megatron, which I've not opened yet, and I'm really looking forward to it. There's the BotPots Con Crew, which I thought from the outside of the box only had 5 items in it, but it's actually got something like 7 or 8 BotBots in it. Some of them actually have like fabric on them. They're actually a little bit more special than standard BotBots. So really looking forward to getting into those. There's a couple of Iron Factory figures. There's a Blue Streak and a Megatron. A couple of Newage figures, Jazz and Cosmos. There's the Henkei Ramjet that I was talking about earlier. Maybe I wasn't talking about them on here actually. The last of my 31 Seekers. One of our listeners asked me when I claimed I had 31 Seekers. One of our listeners asked me for a photo, and I put them all up and went, "Hang on, I only have 30. Wait on, that's not good." So I have had to acquire a Ramjet, and I did that on this trip. There's also an Iron Factory Tarn there, Siege Ratchet, as hard as he was to acquire, and there's also one other thing sitting next to Siege Ratchet in this photo that you might not recognize immediately. He is a Titans Return Hot Rod, but he has actually been customized in his Spectralist colors from the Lost Light comic series, and one of the members in TCCA's Facebook group who lives in Singapore actually did that for me, and it's been waiting for collection for about a year and a half, and that figure has actually turned heads. There's been a lot of people looking at it and just going, wow, that's actually a really nice paint job. So Thomas, excellent job on that.
Yeah,
when I first saw that, I thought it was an official thing, but I just flown the radar.
So did I.
It looks amazing.
He's a real official figure, but he's been customized. There's also a Masterpiece Bumblebee there that's also been customized into a sort of a bug bite appearance there with his white paint job. And there's also a BotCon or a TFSS, I think he's a BotCon Breakdown, who is the Generations Sideswipe and Sunstreaker mold, but done in that lovely aqua color, and the head sculpt for that bot is amazing. It's pink and all these other amazing colors. So that's the main bot section of the haul there. I have developed a bit of a pin thing in the last couple of years. So I made sure that I went to all of the Forge stands and acquired as many pins as I could. There's a lot of different things there. I love there's an entire series of pins that I've acquired there, which the name of it is a pun on one of the comics. So where the comics had Sins of the Wreckers, this is Pins of the Wreckers. It's really good.
Oh, good one.
Yeah, it's very well done. There's a lot of really talented people making things in the Forge at TF Nation, and it's a handmade place. It's where artists will come along and sell their prints. Some of them will sell physical items that they've made, things like that. And you'll see in the next photo, there's a lovely woman named Len on Twitter who makes all of these things. So I've got this fantastic day glow bright colored pencil case. There's in fact there's two pencil cases, one with the sort of rainbow colored print, and there's one with Kremzik on it. And there's also a beanie that has a lovely print of the Decepticon Seeker jets on it, which I would say I'm looking forward to winter when I can wear it, but we're just coming out of winter, so it's going to be a while before I can wear it. But we'll see. If I end up going up to London at Christmas time, I might be rocking this around London. We'll see how we go.
Oh. Other
than that, there's some books and magazines and fanzines that I picked up. There's a couple of scripts of More Than Meets the Eye and Lost Light. There's a script for the one where the DJD first comes in, which is I think More Than Meets the Eye number 9, and there's also a script to Lost Light 25, How to Say Goodbye and Mean It Part 2. There's also a couple of art books and some fanzines as well, which there's a lot of things that are really fun to go through. There's also that special mention, that book on the left, Little Victories, is a Micromaster story that has been written by one of the guys who volunteers for Toyfu, and that is a massive book. Like, it is about the size. It's about the size of two phones. If you put them together, it's a huge book.
It looks pretty thick. Yeah.
Write that about Micromasters.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's all about Micromasters, and just next to it is also a TF Nation coloring book. So they commissioned a bunch of artwork from the community in black and white. And so they printed it up in the coloring book, and so people can get the coloring book and color the scenes themselves.
Nice.
It's fantastic. So yeah. Other than that, there's a few other things that I got made in there. Well, I think a few things that were made. There's a couple of art cards, some stickers, a couple of pins, and then there's the couple of coasters at the bottom, one with Soundwave and one with Starscream. That's Lord Starscream to you. And up the top there's another piece that we're going to explore shortly. There's a group in the Forge called G-Works Toys. So they make Siege-compatible effects pieces. And along with some of those effects pieces are also some pieces that can go with Ghostbusters Transformers. So we'll get onto those shortly. And finally, there's some art prints, which... some of these are from an artist who goes by the name Jamesy Draws. He does the black ones with the robots on them. They're all illustrations. They're not photographs.
Wow.
There's a couple of postcards from some of the people that you might meet wandering around the convention. Some art cards, and I want to draw special attention to the two on the left that they're Peanuts style Transformers. With Starscream playing Lucy and pulling the football away from Megatron, and also Ravage sleeping on top of Soundwave like Snoopy on his kennel. So yeah, they were very, very clever. I really appreciated them. And finally, as I mentioned earlier, there was a Transformers animated season 4 part, and so while they were playing the audio of the voice cast, they were showing up some still images that had been created by artists to go along with it. So there's a couple of scenes from a couple of things that could have been in the cartoon. There's the trial of Megatron there. There's a battle between a Jetwing upgraded Optimus Prime versus Megatron. There's a lot of good things going on there. So they sold those art prints, and the proceeds all went to charity, to Toyfu. So that was really good. Finally, a couple of other Micromaster prints that came out with the Little Victories book, and a couple of others. These came from a TFW member called Ticknat. He's taken some of the Jeff Senior covers from the UK Transformers comic, and he's turned them into 3D posters. And so if you buy the poster, then he gives you a set of 3D glasses with it. And he also then arranged some of the packaging artwork into a single poster that you can sell on the right as well.
Yeah, it was really cool.
So yeah, so that was the TF Nation haul. Since then, I also got my Ghostbuster Prime. So that turned up. There's so I've been doing a few photographs of them today. In fact, can I make that bigger? I don't know if I can. There we go.
Oh yeah.
So Ghostbusters Prime and Ectotron. Now you'll notice that Ectotron is actually carrying a Ghostbusters trap in his hand on the left of the image there, and that is one of those items that came from TF Nation. And I did put up that didn't do what I wanted it to do. So I did put up a post in the discussion group today on Facebook, just showing off some of the accessories. So that's Ectotron's PKE meter.
Mm-hmm.
There.
Cool.
Pretty neat. Comes in two parts. You can assemble it together. And then there's the proton pack blast effect piece, which this is really, really quite cool because it glows in the dark.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Mm.
So that attaches onto the front of most weapons. It is actually, I feel like it's actually compatible with siege weapons as well. So it doesn't have to be used with Ectotron, but obviously works pretty well with Ectotron and with Slimer as well.
Is that two pieces or is it all one piece?
So it is technically two pieces, but when you buy it, it comes as one. So you don't have to assemble it.
Ah, cool. Yeah. Really nice.
And then there's the trap. Now you can see sort of this is very close up on the trap. So there's two pieces to the trap.
Yep.
This is the closed trap, and it comes with another separate insert that is an open trap. And there's also an effects piece that you can attach onto the open trap in order to sort of have him catch ghosts and stuff like that.
Cool.
So yeah, it's pretty neat. So those are my new acquisitions at the moment. I did also actually acquire the Micromaster 10 pack, but I haven't really had that much time to put up much photos of them, and also a bunch of Micromasters. They all, honestly, as cool as they are and as much as I like Micromasters, when you buy a pack of 10 of them as well, all at once, they all tend to blur into one another.
Mm. Definitely.
So yeah. So that's about it. Now, look, we have been going for quite a while on the show, so it's probably beholden to us to end it shortly. Is there anything else that we're forgetting? What should we talk about? Anything coming up? Anything going on?
I don't think so.
No.
I'm forgetting something. Yeah. That's a bit unexciting, but no, not really.
No, fair enough. Cool. So, as far as CCCA business goes, Brad advises that membership packs are being shipped out. There was a members-only giveaway, and Shannon O'Brien was the winner of that. I'll move us back to the 3-hour. Shannon O'Brien was the winner of the members-only giveaway. Congratulations to him. He won a Power of the Prime's Nemesis Prime. And with that, that's about it. We're going through the process of forming the club committee for the next year, figuring out who state representatives are and what responsibilities they will be bearing, and attending events and doing things for the next year or so. And so with that, I think it's time we end the show.
Mm-hmm. I don't think Google Hangouts had how long we've been going live for, did it?
It does. It always did for me, but maybe not for you guys. So yeah.
Now I can see the counter in this one.
Yeah. So look, we're currently at about 1.5 hours, but that will cut down for actual showtime once it's edited.
Probably just be like 10 minutes.
Yeah, about that. Brad will cut out all of the crap with us talking about stuff that he doesn't like. So that's it. Thank you for listening, everyone. If you've been watching along with the live record, which I don't think anyone has because it's late on Saturday night, thank you for checking us out if you are watching us on YouTube. You can find out more about these stories, links to them and more in the show notes. They're posted to the Transformers Weekly Facebook page and the Podbean site, and probably the YouTube video as well. If you want to get in touch with us, you can find us all in Transformers Collectors Club Australia on Facebook, or you can leave comments on the podcast on Australian Transformers Weekly on Facebook. If you're not subscribed, you can find us on iTunes, Pocket Casts, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, and more. The RSS feed link is on the website and in the show notes. We are a production of Transformers Collectors Club Australia. It's a registered club in Victoria run by volunteers who donate their time and money to make the club and the club's activities better for everyone. We want to connect Transformers community. I'm going to do that again. Our goal is to connect Transformers fans around the country, and we do it by engaging the collecting community, and sometimes we trip up our own tongues while we're trying to tell people what we do.
You got through it.
Yes, I got through it until you interrupted it at the end. You can find out more about the club, including affordable yearly membership options. It's all right to show your support at TransformersCCA.com. And Brad, you have a Twitch account that you do broadcasts on occasionally. Would you like to tell us a little bit about that and your Discord server?
Yes, I stream on Twitch every day. Go to twitch.tv/groovyguy0069. You'll find me there. I also have a Discord server, which I put up a couple of weeks ago. It's called Groovy Guys Discord Domicile. So if you find that, please do come along, have a bit of a hello, have a bit of a chat. I've got Transformer type topics there, stuff I've recently acquired, stuff I like to talk about. So yeah, just go on in, say hello, and you'll always be welcome there. Like you're welcome. Yeah.
Oh, very nice. Yes, it's very welcoming, wholesome, and good. That is it for us. Thank you for watching. We're going to say that we're back next week. There's usually a couple of weeks between broadcasts, but hopefully we'll be back next week. We'll give it.
What if we say next month? That way, if we come back next week, it'll be a little bonus.
So next month is tomorrow. But
yeah, that's right.
Let's say that we'll see you next time.
Yes.
Or you'll see us.
That's what I'd say.
We won't see you. That's not how this works. But.
No, I mean, if it was, I would be terrified as to what we're being exposed to right now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Also, by the way, if you are watching us, and while you just stop that. Yeah, it's okay. We actually can see. Just don't do that. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's terrible idea.
Yeah.
You're gonna need a new blanket after that.
Okay, that's probably enough. Thank you, everyone, and goodbye, and see you next time.
Bye bye.